Hello students, this is Harshit Gupta. Come back to explain the remaining chapter, second chapter of chemistry, that is matter around us pure. In the last video, I have discussed the solution and types of solutions also, in which I have discussed homogeneous, heterogeneous solution, concentrated and diluted solution, uh, true solution suspension, saturated and unsaturated solution, colloidal solution also. Today we will discuss the concentration of solution. What is the concentration of solution? It may be defined as concentration of a solution is the measure of the amount of solute that has been dissolved in a given amount of solution. Suppose that if you will prepare a solution in which you will take 100 ml water and you will add 20 gram of any solute, then the concentration of this solution will be 20 gram per 100 ml. The concentration of solution will be 20 gram per 100 ml. So it is the amount of solute that has been dissolved in a given amount of solution, solvent or solution. It is determined with the help of the following formula. What is the formula? Concentration of a solution is equals to amount of solute upon amount of solution, or we can say that amount of solute upon amount of solvent. If you will take solution, you can take solution or solvent both to express the concentration. For example, if 75 gram of sugar dissolve in water to form 1 liter of solution, then the concentration of solution will be 75 gram per liter. So this is the way to express the solution, and its unit will be gram per liter, as the weight of solute in gram and volume of solution in liter. It is also expressed in the term of mass percentage. When you will express the concentration in the term of mass percentage, then you have to take W upon W. W means mass of, small w means mass of solute, capital W means mass of solution. Similarly, you can also express it into the volume percentage. Here actually V upon B. Small v means volume of solute, or capital B means volume of solution. And you can also express it in mass per volume percentage, in which you have to take W upon B. W is mass of solute, B is the volume of solution. So these are the uh, expressions through which you can express the concentration. By mass percentage, you can uh, determine the mass percentage of a solution, mass by mass percentage, by the formula mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100, as the percentage is determined from the total. Suppose that if you got 30 marks out of 100, then you will express like this. And what is the percentage? For percentage, you have to multiply this amount with 100. 20 से 20 कैंसिल हो जाएगा, 30% बचेगा. तो 30 मार्क्स थे आपके आउट ऑफ 100 में. सिमिलरली अगर हम परसेंटेज निकाल रहे हैं सोल्यूट की, देन मास ऑफ सोल्यूट अपॉन टोटल मास ऑफ सॉल्यूशन. सपोज दैट सॉल्यूशन इज 100 ग्राम and mass of solute is 25 gram into 100, then this will be the 25% will be the mass percentage of solution. Similarly, you can also determine volume by volume percentage from this formula, for which you have to take volume in the place of mass, volume of solute upon volume of solution into 100. And you can also determine mass by volume percentage of a solution, in which you have to take mass of solute and volume of solution in into 100. Suppose that this time if you will take if you will prepare solution in the liquid form and you will measure the volume of solution, in which suppose that 1 liter, before it I have discussed an example in which 75 gram of sugar is dissolved in water to form 1 liter of solution. So here the volume of solution is 1 liter, mass of solute is 75 gram. Then mass per volume percentage is 75 upon 1 liter. I can change it into ml into 100. 20 से 20 cancel हो जाएगा, is equals to 7.5%. This will be the mass per volume percentage. You can easily determine mass per volume percentage. After the concentration of solution, we will discuss some numericals also in the next video. I will complete this chapter with some numericals. So we will discuss some numericals on the topic of concentration also. Now, what is the solubility? How can you determine solubility? What is solubility? The actually when you will prepare a saturated solution, saturated solutions are those solutions in which no more amount of solute can dissolve at a particular temperature. So when a saturated solution is prepared, then the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in the particular amount of solvent is known as solubility of that substance. Generally, it is expressed for 100 gram of solvent. Then the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in 100 gram of solvent at a specified temperature to make the solution saturated. Then this maximum amount of solute is known as the solubility of the solute in the solvent. For example, uh, if 20 if you will take 21 gram of copper sulfate and you will dissolve it into 100 gram of water at 20 degrees Celsius, then a saturated solution is formed. So if you will take copper sulfate and you will start to add copper sulfate in the water, 100 gram of water, then you will see that after some time the dissolution of copper sulfate will stop. At that time saturated solution will form, and whatever the maximum amount which has been dissolved in the solution is known as the solubility of copper sulfate. We know that at 20 degrees Celsius 21 gram of copper sulfate is dissolved in 100 gram of water, then saturated solution will form. Then we can say that the solubility of copper sulfate in water at 20 degrees Celsius will be 21 gram per 100 gram. So it is the solubility of water copper sulfate 21 gram per 100 gram. One more thing, different substances have different solubility at a particular temperature in same solvent. Means if different solute dissolve in a same solvent at same temperature, then their solubility will be different. For example, the solubility of some substances at 20 degrees Celsius in the water are given as follow. The solubility of copper sulfate in 100 gram of water at 20 degrees Celsius will be 21 gram. Potassium nitrate, the solubility of potassium nitrate is 32 gram. Solubility of potassium chloride is 34. Solubility of sodium chloride is 36 gram. Means if you will dissolve sodium chloride in the water at 20 degrees Celsius, then maximum amount of sodium chloride which dissolve in water will be 36 gram. The solubility of ammonium chloride is 37 gram and solubility of sugar is 204 gram. Means in 100 gram water you can dissolve 204 gram of sugar. Okay, so this is the solubility. After the solubility, there are some factors which affect the solubility of a substance, and mainly two factors affect the solubility of a substance. The first factor is temperature. If a solution is made up by a solid in liquid, means the solubility of a solid in liquid is usually increases with increasing the temperature. If you will prepare a solution in which solid substance is dissolved in liquid, then the solubility increases with increasing the temperature. For example, the solubility of copper sulfate at different temperatures is given as follow. Solubility of copper sulfate You can check at 0 degree Celsius, the solubility of copper sulfate is 14 gram, means in 100 gram water, maximum amount of copper sulfate which can be dissolved in 100 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius is 14 gram. And at 10 degree Celsius, the maximum amount increases up to 17 gram. At 20 degree Celsius, the solubility will be 21. At 30, the solubility will be 24 gram. At 40, 29 gram, 50 degrees Celsius, 34 gram, 60 degrees Celsius, 40 gram, 70 degrees Celsius, 47 grams. It's mean that as the temperature increases, the solubility also increases. Thus, we can say that the solubility of a solid and liquid increases with increasing the temperature. But if we will consider the solubility of gas in liquid, like cold drink, I think all of you have drink the cold drink. In cold drink, carbon dioxide gas is dissolved in the liquid. So carbon dioxide gas is dissolved in the liquid. Then we can say that the solubility of a gas in liquid decreases with increasing the temperature. As the temperature increasing, then the solubility of the gas decreases. For example, if you will drink the hot cold drink, then you will not feel the presence of CO2 in the cold drink. But if you will drink chilled cold drink, then the solubility will increases as the temperature decreases. Then maximum amount of CO2 will dissolve, and you will feel the carbon dioxide also when you will drink the cold drink. Acha, why the solubility decreases in the case of when gas is dissolved in liquid? Because the kinetic energy of gaseous molecules increases. The kinetic energy of gaseous molecules is directly proportional to temperature. As the temperature increases, the kinetic energy of molecules will increase, and as the kinetic energy of molecule increases, then the gaseous molecules leave the solution and move out in the surroundings. The second factor which affect the solubility of a substance is pressure. The solubility of a solid in liquid does not affect by pressure. Means the solubility of a solid into a liquid does not affect by pressure. If you will prepare a solution by sugar and water, then the solubility of sugar in water does not affect by pressure, but the solubility of gas in liquid increases with increasing the pressure. For example, if you will buy a cold drink bottle from the market, and if the bottle of cold drink is already sealed packed, then you will see that the pressure is very high in the bottle, due to which the solubility of gas is maximum in the cold drink. But if you will open the cap of cold drink bottle and you will place it for a few minutes, then after some time uh, you will close the lid of the bottle, and you can place it into the freezer. You can cold the bottle, you can chill the bottle, and then you will drink. Then you cannot realize the same taste of cold drink as the taste of cold drink when you will buy it, and you will place it onwards in the freeze. तो ये तो आप लोगों ने सबने फील भी किया होगा, जब आप नई कोल्ड ड्रिंक खरीद के लाओ, उसको फ्रीज में रख दो, तब आपको फील ज्यादा होगा, गले पे CO2 गैस गले पे लगती है थोड़ी सी, आप जब डायरेक्ट कोल्ड ड्रिंक पियोगे। बट इफ अगर आपने उसके कैप को खोल के रख दिया, और खोल के रखने के बाद आप उसे कितना भी ठंडा कर लो बाद में, लेकिन आपको कोल्ड ड्रिंक में CO2 की जो अमाउंट है वो बहुत कम हो जाएगी। क्यों? क्योंकि प्रेशर कम हो गया, प्रेशर कम हो गया तो सॉलिबिलिटी कम हो जाएगी, सॉलिबिलिटी कम हो जाएगी तो गैस उसमें से जो डिसॉल्व थी वो निकल जाएगी, और कोल्ड ड्रिंक में आपको CO2 गैस फील नहीं होगी। तो द solubility of gas in liquid increases with increasing the pressure. So after the concentration and solubility of a solution, we will study about the separation of mixture containing a solid and liquid, means solutions. If you will prepare a solution by adding a solid into a liquid, then what are the methods from which you can separate the components of a mixture? So all the mixtures containing solid and liquid, which may be dissolved or not. It is not necessary that solid substance will dissolve in the liquid. It may be possible that the solid substance remains undissolved in the liquid. Then all the types of mixtures containing a solid into a liquid are separated by the following methods. The first method is filtration. The first method is filtration. What is filtration? The process of removing insoluble solids from a liquid by using a filter paper is known as filtration. Filtration is used to separating insoluble substance from a liquid. तो filtration process is इस बात को ध्यान से सुनो. Filtration is used to separating insoluble substances from the liquid. If insoluble substance is dissolved in the liquid, means is present in the liquid, not dissolved, then such type of mixtures can be separated by the process of filtration. In this process, you have to take a filter paper and you can place a filter paper into the funnel and you have to pour the solution through the funnel with the help of filter paper. Then the solid substance remain as the residue in the filter paper while the liquid is coming out through the filter paper as a filtrate. This method is called filtration. For example, a mixture of chalk and water is separated by filtration. So I can show you the method of filtration. If you have a solution, if you have a solution in which insoluble substance is present, and when you will pour this solution through the filter paper which is placed in the funnel, it is the funnel, then the solid substance remains present in this filter paper as the solid substance are large in size and then do not pass through this filter paper, but liquid can easily pass through this filter paper and move and come out, blow through this filter paper, due to which liquid substance is separated from the solid substance. This method is called filtration. Uh, we will also done a practical. We will do a practical in the lab also when school will reopen. The second process of separation is centrifugation. सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन, आप लोगों ने इस प्रोसेस को तो घर पे भी देखा होगा. जिन लोगों के घर पे मलाई होती है, मलाई होती है दूध की मलाई, तो उससे बहुत से लोग नैनी निकालते हैं घी बनाने के लिए. तो उसके लिए क्या करते हैं, वो बहुत तेजी से उसे घुमाते हैं, फेंटते हैं. तो जब हम फेंटते हैं तो क्या होता है, फैट आपका अलग हो जाता है, उस मलाई में से लिक्विड अलग हो जाता है, वाटर अलग हो जाता, वाटर कंपोनेंट अलग हो जाता है. तो ये प्रोसेस जो थी सेपरेट करने की, इस प्रोसेस को ही हम सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन कहते हैं. तो इसकी बात करते हैं. देखो सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन, we can separate the suspended particles of a substance in a liquid very rapidly by using this method or by using the method of centrifugation. Centrifugation is done by using a machine called centrifuge. Centrifugation is a method for separating the suspended particle of a substance from a liquid in which the mixture is rotated at a high speed in a centrifuge. तो as I told you, जब हम मलाई निकालते हैं तो बहुत तेजी से घुमाते हैं उसे. सेम यहाँ सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन में भी यही होता है. तो the example of centrifugation is we can separate the clay particles suspended in the water very rapidly by the method of centrifugation. You can also separate the components of blood by the centrifugation method. Plasma um, and red blood cells RBCs from the blood sample. So centrifugation, the the suspension of clay particles in the water is taken in a test tube and rotated very fast in a centrifuge machine. The clay particles settle down in the bottom at the bottom of the test tube and clear water remains at the top. This method is called centrifugation. So I will show you the diagrams also. This machine is called centrifuge. So in this machine, you can take a sample of solution in which the solute particles are suspended. Suppose that if you will separate blood sample, then you have to place it in this centrifuge machine. After the placing of test tube, it will rotate at very high speed, due to which the water sample initially like this and after separation it will become like this. So this machine is rotating in this direction, you can see. This method is called centrifugation for the separating of components of a solution of a mixture. The third method of separation is evaporation. Evaporation is very easy method for the separation of the substance. The changing of a liquid into vapors is called evaporation. The simple way, the changing of liquid into vapors is called evaporation. Evaporation is used to separate a solid substance that has been dissolved in water or any other liquid. The dissolved substance is left as a solid residue when the water or liquid has evaporated. The use of the process evaporation for the separating a mixture is based on the fact that liquid vaporized easily, whereas solids do not vaporize easily. Means the liquid component of a mixture is easily vaporized while solid substance do not vaporize easily. Through the evaporation of a liquid can take place even at room temperature. So if you will prepare a solution and you can leave the solution at room temperature, then after some time it will take few hours or few days for the evaporation of water. If you will place the container in the sunlight, then it will easily evaporate. Then water will easily evaporate and solid substance remain in the container. So you can do this experiment. You have to dissolve salt in water. You have to take minimum 2 spoon of salt and you have to dissolve it in the minimum amount of water. You can take 1/4 glass of water. When the salt is completely dissolved, you have to take this solution in a bowl and you have to place the bowl in the sunlight. After some time you will see that yeah, after some time you will, after some hours you will see that all the water has been evaporated, all the water will evaporate and solid residue remain in the bowl. The solid substance, this method is called evaporation. Simply we can say that separation by evaporation. The evaporation the evaporation is very slow at room temperature, but it can be made quicker by heating the solution. As you know that the rate of evaporation increase with the increasing of temperature. Example of separation by evaporation is the common salt dissolved in the water can easily separated by this process of evaporation. The solution of common salt and water is taken in China dish and heated gently by using a burner. Water present in the salt solution will form water vapors and escape into atmosphere. When all the water present in the solution of common salt and water gets evaporated, then common salt is left behind in the China dish as a white solid. This method is called evaporation. The process of evaporation is used on large scale to obtain common salt from seawater. So the common salt from seawater is obtained by the process of evaporation. In this method, you have to take a solution into a China dish. You can also say it evaporating dish. Here you have to place the mixture of salt and water and you have to heat with the help of burner. ठीक है? After that, after some time, the water will evaporate while solid substance remains in dish, in this evaporating dish. This method is called separation by evaporation. The next method for the separation is separation by crystallization. The process now, what is the separation by crystallization? The process of cooling a hot concentrated solution of a substance to obtain the crystals is called crystallization. Means when you will cool a hot concentrated solution of a substance, then the formation of crystals of any substance is called crystallization. The process of crystallization is also used for obtaining a pure solid substance from a impure sample. This process completes in the following steps. What are the steps of this process? The first step is the impure solid substance is dissolved in the minimum amount of water to form a solution. After the formation of solution, the solution is filtered to remove the insoluble impurities. Suppose that if you have a mixture of two or more substances in which one is water soluble, then you have to dissolve the whole mixture in the water. The insoluble substance remains insoluble, which can be removed by the process of filtration. And the dissolved substance is is separated with in the form of solution. After the formation of solution, the clear solution is heated gently on water bath till a concentrated solution or saturated solution is obtained. This can be tested by dropping a glass rod in hot sodium or in hot solution for time to time. When small crystals form on the glass rod, the solution is saturated. Then stop heating means if a solution is become the a solution becomes saturated, then on glass rod the crystals of the substance will form. Then you can stop heating, and after that in the fourth step you have to allow the hot saturated solution to cool slowly, due to which crystals of pure solids are formed and impurities remains dissolved in solution. Now separate the crystals of pure solid by filtration and dry. So you can see this diagram, this method of crystallization. Firstly, you have to make a solution in the minimum amount of water, solution of one solid and insoluble impurities. After that, you have to, in the second step, you have to filter the impurities with the help of filter paper. So the solid impurities remains in this filter paper while the filtrate is coming out in the evaporating this. This solution will placed to evaporate on a burner, due to which the liquid is evaporating, and when a concentrated solution is formed, then you have to place this solution, transfer this solution, this liquid to a dish and cool it slowly, due to which crystals of solid substance are formed. While some liquid will also remain, the liquid contains soluble impurities. You can, after that, you can filter, you can filter the crystals with the help of filtration process, due to which the solid crystals remains on the filter paper, while the solid substance remain on the filter paper, while the impurities with the solution, with the liquid, is coming out through the filter paper. This method is called separation by crystallization. The next method is chromatography. The next method is chromatography. Chromatography is a technique of separating two or more dissolved solid which are present in a solution in very small quantities. There are two types of chromatography. The first one is paper chromatography. Mainly two types of chromatography: paper chromatography and TLC. TLC means thin layer chromatography. So there are two types of chromatography. So here we will use paper chromatography for separating two or more substances. By using paper chromatography, we can separate two or more different substances present in the same solution. This separation based on the fact that the two substances are soluble in a same solvent, but their solubilities may be different. Some may more soluble than the others. So with the substance which is more soluble in the solvent, then it will move higher to the chromatograph paper. For example, black ink is a mixture of several colored substances which can be separated by paper chromatography. So I will show you the diagram of paper chromatography. In the paper chromatography, you have to take a paper chromatograph. It is known as chromatograph paper. It is actually a Whatman filter paper, which is also used for the chromatography, which is also used for the chromatography. So, in which you have to place the spot of pink, a spot of ink, and you have to draw a line by pencil for determine the RF value. RF is the retardation factor. तो वो आगे के प्रैक्टिकल्स की बात है, 11th 12th में आएगी, अभी नहीं है, 12th क्लास में है। RF वैल्यू हम निकालते हैं इससे, बट अभी मैं आपको बता दे रहा हूँ। लाइन ड्रॉ करते हैं, देन this paper is placed in the developer solution. Here water is used as the developer solution to separate the components of ink in a jar. So when you will place the chromatograph paper in the developer, and remain one thing in your mind, जो ये लाइन है पेंसिल से ड्रॉ की हुई, ये कभी भी इस लिक्विड में डिप नहीं होनी चाहिए, ये ऊपर ही रहनी चाहिए. आफ्टर सम टाइम solvent move upwards due to action of capillary, एंड अब जब वाटर आपका ऊपर की तरफ आएगा तो आपकी इंक जो है वो वाटर में जितने भी कंपोनेंट सॉल्युबल होंगे, जो ज्यादा सॉल्युबल होंगे वो जल्दी सॉल्युबल हो जाएंगे, और जल्दी सॉल्युबल होंगे तो वो ज्यादा ऊपर आएंगे, जो कम सॉल्युबल होंगे वो थोड़े नीचे रह जाएंगे. तो इस तरह से आपके कंपोनेंट्स अलग अलग हो जाते हैं, सेपरेट हो जाते हैं. तो इनिशियली क्या होगा आपके पास, इनिशियली इन द स्टार्टिंग यू हैव अ chromatograph paper, at which you have the spot of ink, यहाँ पे water label था paper strip पर, और after chromatography technique, after separating the component, you got the different components at different places. So this technique is called chromatograph technique. It is used to separate the small quantities present in a mixture. So this is the fifth method of separating. There is one another method for separating, which is distillation. I will discuss the distillation in the next video. I will discuss the separation of liquid solution also by distillation in the next video. In the next video, I will complete this chapter and I will also give some questions in the next video. So it is my advice to all of you. All of you have to complete the work before the next lecture. I will check the notebooks after completion of this chapter from each student. तब तक के लिए धन्यवाद.